Good Monday morning to you. It's time to talk a little dollars and cents. We're going to talk some money here on Money Mondays here at the Business of Apparel. Today, we're going to get a little bit into a very practical question, especially as we go into the holidays. Maybe you're looking to make a little extra cash so that you can buy some extra gifts or throw a party or do something really special with your friends, family, coworkers, whatever it is for the holidays. We're going to talk a little bit about side hustles today. And there are some crazy stats out there right now, especially for millennials and Gen Z. Many of us, there is a very high percentage of us. I don't remember the exact percent, so I'm not going to misquote myself here. But there are a lot of us who now have side hustles on top of our either full-time job or our main job. And so even if you're running a company, maybe you have a second business, or maybe you're doing something a little bit on the side. If you have a full-time W-2 9 to 5 job, so many of us are trying to find ways to have that little side hustle so that we can, number one, put a passion project in our life, and number two, bring in a little bit of side cash. I remember when I was an intern at Disney, I was merchandising the cruise line at Disney. I was an intern working with that team. It was a ton of fun. And so I would go to my internship every single day from 9 to 5, wear my business casual stuff, very Disney, very corporate. And then I would change my clothes and I would go bartend at night and waitress. And I will say that this was at a time in my life where I was not a very good waitress. And unfortunately, I think I probably spilled more beers than I served. I was just not good at waitressing and bartending. For some reason, I can be very, very good at so many other things, but that was just one of those things that I don't know, I just could not quite get right. So anyway, that was like a little example of why I went and got out and got a side hustle, was because I really wanted a new laptop for school. I had been clunking around this like huge PC laptop, and I was in design school. All my friends had Macs and, Apple computers, and I wanted one. So I went and started bartending and waitressing. And even though I was not very good at it, at least in my opinion, all of my, tables and all of my patrons and all of those people were very, very kind to me. And so I was able to take all of those tips, and I was able to buy a laptop at the end of that internship, buy myself my brand new laptop. So much of that is happening in such a bigger way today. And so what I wanted to go through with you today was just a couple of different ideas. If you're looking to start a side hustle, if you want to make a little extra cash, one thing that you can definitely do is go through your house. I always like to recommend like declutter your house and like build up a stack of stuff that you don't need or want anymore, and make two piles. Like one pile is going to go to donation, Goodwill. That's still technically money that comes back to you when you file your taxes. All of your charitable donations will come back to you, right? But the other thing that you can do is set aside a stack of stuff that's either in really good condition. Maybe it's never been worn. Maybe you never even took the tags off of it. So it's something that you can definitely like sell at a pretty high price point. Things like that. Anything you feel like you can sell in a marketplace. Maybe you can sell it on eBay. Maybe you can sell it on Poshmark. Maybe you can send it to ThreadUp and they can consign it for you. There are a lot of different ways that you can make a little bit of extra cash in that way. Plus, you get the added bonus of decluttering your house, which always feels really, really good, at least to me. So that's definitely something that I recommend if you're looking for a little extra cash. Then the top 4 things, though, like when I did a quick search to kind of make sure I had like the right relevant information for you today to give you this information, are to be creating digital tools. Because as soon as you create them and you put them out online, it's 100% profit, right? Like you don't have to hold inventory or something. You don't have to create something physical. You don't have to spend more time doing anything. If you create a digital product, you can just put it on a website, or you can put it out into the world in whatever way makes most sense to you. And then it's just there for people to buy. And it's very, very easy. It's a very little lift. So digital products in the way of like, creating PDF files that people can download and understand, like, I don't know, your diet that you follow or your workout schedule that you follow. If you've had a lot of success in those things and you want to gift that to people, that's definitely something you can create, and they can then download it for maybe a small amount of money. And that money will add up over time. Um, Definitely creating digital tools from like the knowledge that you have about anything. Maybe you are amazing at hand knitting. And so creating a little digital course on how to start hand knitting, how to use the needles, what kind of yarns you can go buy, anything like that. I'm always telling my friend, she and her husband own an architecture firm. And my husband and I, for a while there, we were trying to research what it would look like to build a custom home. And so we were kind of working with them. We were asking a bazillion questions, and things with the housing market shifted, and we ultimately didn't end up doing that, at least not yet. But I kept telling her, like, there is no information out here. There's so little information on the architecture side. Like, anybody who wants to build a custom home, it feels so confusing. Like, when is my money due? What is a construction loan like? Like, what would timing be like? What would it be like to work with you? What are the steps? What are the stages? How long will it take? There's so much information that I could not find when I was even really, really interested in doing this. And even when we would go through different information with my friend, it still felt a little bit elusive and a little bit confusing. So I keep telling her, like, take all this information that you guys have, put it into a digital course, and just put it out into the world. And then that way, anybody who wants to maybe build a custom home has you to go to. And then guess who they're going to call, especially if they're local, when they're ready to build their home, the person that taught them the process, right? So there's so many different opportunities for you to definitely build digital products, just taking something that I'm sure you know something, even if it's how to, I don't know, properly put a diaper on a baby. There's someone who's searching for that right now online. Like, think about the things that you maybe are really, really good at, or something that you love to do. And there is definitely opportunity for you to create digital tools in that realm and then go ahead and sell them. And that can be a very lucrative side hustle, especially if you can figure out how to get it into more and more people's hands. The next thing that came up was actually the gig economy. So I've considered this a few times. Like, I'm maybe a total nerd, but I actually really like grocery shopping. I love going to the grocery. There's something about it, like from my childhood, like deep in my core, that just makes me feel, I don't know, like an adult or something, or like an organized person, or I have no idea what it is, but it's in my psyche as something that I really enjoy doing. I like to do it. So I've always thought, why don't I just like get on the gig economy and go do other people's grocery shopping too? Like, I could sign up to be an Instacart shopper and do other people's groceries and deliver it and get paid for it. I haven't actually jumped into that because I've been so incredibly busy with my other businesses that I'm building, but that's definitely the kind of thing that you can also look into. DoorDash, Uber Eats, Instacart. There are so many different ways to get into these apps and also make a little bit of side cash. Like, if you're already running an errand and going to the grocery store and doing your own groceries while grocery shopping for someone else, that could be a very like additional lucrative way to have a side hustle and to bring in some extra cash that you might want or need. As we start to talk a little bit more about the apparel industry, right? This channel is all about apparel. There are two additional things that I really want to talk through with you. One of them is drop shipping. And now we have put out several videos about how our expertise is in like custom, bespoke, unique apparel creation, right? Like, if you have an idea in your head for something you've never seen before, I can help you figure out how to make it. That's where my expertise lies. That's where my team's expertise lies. We've been doing that each for 20 to 25 years inside the corporate apparel industry. So we don't talk a ton about drop shipping and how that can be a great way to maybe start your business, but that is what we're giving some of our clients advice on. And we do have a couple of different startups who are in our membership right now who are leveraging both bespoke product creation with some drop shipping opportunities. So they're kind of combining these two to help boost their profits, to help bring in some additional revenue without having to do product creation on everything. So the way that looks, like, if you're in the middle of designing your first few products, you've nailed your target customer, you know what your minimum viable product is going to be for that target customer, and you've started to design it, develop it, prototype it, fit it, get it ready for production, right? You're kind of in that phase. something that you can be doing on your website that maybe you've also started to build, and on your social media channels that you should be out there creating hype on. You should be telling your backstory on social media at this point. If you're in that phase, you should be showing the behind the scenes of designing your stuff, the behind the scenes of developing your stuff. You should be showing what it looks like to fit a prototype. Oh my God, this prototype came in looking totally bonkers and terrible. This is what the apparel industry is about. You are going to create a lot bigger of an audience if you can be transparent and authentic about your process at this phase. So you should be out there on social media posting. You should be starting to build your website and get that back end starting to work. While you're doing that, if you wanted to choose a few drop shipping items to come into your collection now, let's say you choose a hat with an embroidery on it, and you choose that from Printful. And so you connect Printful app to your website. Now you have this hat that looks like it's on your website. You have an embroidery that you've designed. Maybe it's your logo or some sort of saying that's important to you and your community. And you've put that up as a drop shipping item. So every time someone clicks and purchases that hat, it comes directly from the Printful store. They embroider it, they ship it to your customer. You don't have to hold that inventory. So that's profit, and that's money coming into your business now while you're waiting to launch your bespoke items. That is definitely a way that you can start out and start doing that fundraising piece for your collection too. So these are definitely side hustle ways to bolster, that was a weird noise, to definitely bolster your bottom line of your actual apparel line that you're developing, something that is yours, something that is unique, right? So dropshipping isn't a bad thing necessarily. It's just that it's really, really hard to scale and grow a dropshipping company past a certain point. And the reason for that is because your costs on dropshipping are going to be quite a bit higher. So let's say that same hat that you've decided to start with, it's an advantage to you right now to have it as a drop shipping item because you don't have to hold inventory of it, right? Like you don't have to buy 1,000 of them and hold it in your warehouse or hold it in your own apartment and then ship them out. Printful is handling that for you. Right now, that's an advantage to you. Let's say you start selling thousands of these hats. Your profit on them is probably not going to be super high. Like when you go to Printful and you put in like what you want to sell it for versus the actual cost, it's usually not very much. So you're making a little bit of money that it'll definitely add up if you sell a lot of them. But the best plan forward, if you start to sell a lot of those hats, is to develop your own hat and work with a hat supplier who can give you a much better cost break. And then you do want to buy inventory of it because that will actually help you save money. And so there becomes like a trigger point in your business where you want to stop drop shipping and you want to start creating your own custom apparel. So again, if that's a hat, if that's a t-shirt, if it's a hoodie, and you've been getting those from drop shipping companies for a while and it's starting to become lucrative, you're gonna want to boost your profit margin on all of those items quite a bit. And so that's when you want to bring it in and you want to create it on your own. So drop shipping will work to start out. It's definitely a great way to be that side hustle for your apparel line. It's just not a long-term solution that we really recommend because over time, you're going to find that your profit margins aren't high enough to stay afloat as a company. The last thing I really want to talk through today, and this is how so my company started Unmarked Street as a freelancing gig. I thought I was going to leave corporate and offer my technical design services and my product management services and my project management services as a freelancer. I was going to be solo. I was just going to work for friends. I was going to reach out to my network and get as many jobs as I possibly could. And that was going to be the way that I was going to fund my own startup apparel brand. That was kind of my dream. And so at the time, like freelancing was the side hustle, right? Like freelancing was the way to get to the dream. And now things change, right? It's only been 4 years since I started that. And the dream has changed a lot since then. I did launch my own brand, sold through all the inventory and decided that that was no longer the dream. My dream is actually right here talking to you, helping you understand this industry because the joy that I get out of you having success, believe it or not, is a lot more joyous than me selling inventory of apparel. Like I've unfortunately just been in this industry too long. I needed something different. And so by me being able to come to you and help you have success, like that's new for me. Being able to coach, being able to teach, you being able to learn from me and having that bring success in so many different ways is such a change up for me. Like it's so valuable to me to be at this point in my career where I get to pass it forward, right? And so that's the kind of stuff that brings me joy, not necessarily staying in the grind of like selling and marketing and being on social media for my own brand. Instead, I get to teach that to you, and I get to give you all the information of everything I learned by doing that, plus all the information I know by working at big billion-dollar corporate brands. Like that's what the dream has turned into. And so that's what we're out here doing. And that's why I no longer own my own brand. But what that did is all that freelancing money started to go into a savings account, right? Like every time I would make freelancing dollars, it would go into a savings account, and I was building up my savings to be able to place my first purchase order of inventory for my line. And it was small. I was manufacturing in LA. I had just like, I think 135 units of 2 styles. So it wasn't a lot. It wasn't a ton that I needed to save. And I could obviously design and develop and fit and prototype all of my own stuff. So it wasn't necessary that I had to actually pay a ton of money for development and all of those services either. But that was such a lucrative way. And I know my friend Heidi Weinberg out there is also telling you that freelancing can be the greatest way to get toward the next dream. Like if you have a skill that you can go out and offer in the way of freelancing, if you're a graphic designer, if you can create social media posts, if you're really good at like creating viral things on the internet, if you are very visual, maybe you're a stylist, maybe you love to dress people. There are so many different things that you can do in the world of freelancing. If you have a skill you can offer to somebody else, and do it for them, take it off their plate, especially if you can sell that to people who make a lot of money, you can also make a lot of money. And so I just want to throw out, I really believe that freelancing and putting your services out there is one of the best ways, it's one of the most lucrative ways to make side hustle money, because you can truly charge the value of what you're giving to somebody else. You don't have to charge an hourly rate. And even if you do want to charge an hourly rate, you can make it pretty high. You can charge $150 an hour, especially if you're really, really good at what you do and you know you're going to deliver really great work. There is nothing wrong with that. So if you are looking for a little bit of side hustle money, that's kind of where we're at today. You can definitely be selling to like secondhand places. You can go through eBay, you can go through Poshmark, ThreadUp. There are a whole bunch of different places that you can be selling through. Check out to see if you can create some digital tools. Check out the gig economy if that's of interest to you. If you haven't looked into drop shipping yet and bolstering your company or bolstering your website with some drop shipping items, look into it. See if it's for you. It might not be, but check it out. And then freelancing, if there's anything that you can offer to somebody else. If you have learned how to create tech packs and how to design really well, you can always offer that up to other brands and collaborate with them, and maybe even do service swaps. Maybe you find a marketing person who really wants to create their own apparel line. You can help them with that, and they can help you with marketing. There are so many ways to cut the pie. But I wanted to kind of put that out there for you because it's just that time of year where a little extra cash could never hurt. It's always helpful. If you liked this episode, please share it with someone else who might also like it. Thank you so much for being here with me this week. Have a great week ahead, and I'll talk to you next Monday.